Grand Rising, beautiful ones. Grand Rising. I am Achoti and thank you for tuning in to Coffee, Herbs, and Achoti. This morning, family, I want to just give you a little bit of taste of what Miss Fannie Willis is going through. If you don't know, Fannie Willis is the district attorney out there in Georgia who is presiding over the case of Donald Trump and his alleged voting interference. Even though back in 2020, I believe he made a telephone call to the voter registration's office asking them to find some votes for him. And Ms. Fannie Willis, DA Fannie Willis, decided that she was going to charge Donald Trump for election interference. And of course, during the course of that, it came out that this Willis had hired Mr. Wade to take control over that case with those charges, and now their personal relationship is coming under the attack. It's sort of like they're charging her with pay for play, and they're charging her with corruption and saying that she should be removed from the case, and also this board is trying to take her license to practice law. So I found it interesting that the number of comments that was coming forth as a result of her being on trial, just hateful rhetoric coming from individuals in the chat as well as individuals in the news media. Basically, I came across this one article, Fox News, where they're saying that she is out of control because she was very, very, I would say, candid with her responses to the questions from the prosecutors on yesterday. So I want to go ahead and, before the court goes into session this morning, they're still waiting for the judge and I guess some other prosecutors to come in. They were supposed to start at 9 o'clock this morning, but we've been waiting. So hopefully they'll start here at 10 o'clock maybe, but and when I say 9 o'clock, I mean 9 o'clock. It was supposed to be 9 o'clock Eastern time because they are in Georgia. So perhaps it's now 10:30 in Georgia. I see some activity coming with bailiffs coming back and forth. I did see the defense attorneys earlier this morning. But before the court gets into session, I wanted to share with you all some of the comments that individuals are making in response to her testimony on yesterday, particularly this Fox News report on the trial. So I'm going to go ahead and share that with you all before court actually gets into session this morning. So let's take a listen to that.
And Fannie Willis has left the courtroom, at least for today. Court is going to end now. This has been a marathon day. We're going to take you through a little bit. We all have opinions. Let's start with the judge because it started earlier today. I didn't think it would be, well, I don't know. I'm totally into this story, but I didn't even know it would be like this on the witness stand. It started slow at 10, but it picked up a lot of steam.
I got to tell you, Dana, everybody I've spoken with has been glued to this. This is a combination of a real courtroom, but also with soap opera, with characters and with explosions that you don't usually see in courtrooms. So let me start by saying that Fannie Willis is out of control. All right. No judge would tolerate what she did in that courtroom. I don't know why this one did, but any judge that I appeared before trying a case would have held me in contempt if I acted that way. She was condescending. She was out of control. She was combative. She was gratuitous. She was lecturing. She yelled at the attorney and said, "Don't you yell at me." And, the attorney wasn't yelling, but she was yelling at the attorney. And she literally thought.
Right there, I'm going to stop it right there because George Deneen is actually lying. That prosecutor was not pleased with the way Miss Fannie was answering, DA Fannie was answering his questions, and he raised his voice. And DA Fannie Willis told him, don't yell at me. You do not have to yell at me. That's what really happened. I watched the trial. So let's continue with her lies.
But that this was her show, that she was running the courtroom, and that, you know, all of these issues, everybody had to be lectured. If she was asked a question, you know, did you keep cash, and trying to assess, the real issue here is whether or not there are misconduct allegations that can lead to her being disqualified. Those misconduct allegations include, number one, did she have an affair with a guy before she hired him? And what has come out is that she hired him in November of 2022, and the affair started in early 2023. So I guess a few weeks after they took a look at each other, they decided they were going to have sex together. But the truth is that it's more than that. Was she partaking of trips that literally she was indirectly paying for?
Right.
And when it got to the point where she had to prove that she was in fact reimbursing Mr. Wade for these trips, she couldn't have any proof. She didn't have any. She said she went to Belize with cash. I mean, who goes to Belize with cash? And then finally, she said that she never received a gift with an aggregate of over.
Now, I know several people that travel to Belize with cash. I know several people that carry cash wherever they go. And as a matter of fact, in the next coming days or so, I'm going to do a report on how the law enforcement agents that's working in conjunction with NSA, whatever you call them, people that work at the TSA, at the airport, they're actually going through individuals' bags and stealing their cash. So it's not unheard of. Perhaps Judge Jeanine does not want us to know that people that are calling themselves law enforcement officers are actually stealing cash from people who are traveling on these airlines. No charges are being brought forth, but if you can't prove where you, how you obtain this money that you're carrying with you overseas, or just flying, maybe even don't even have to be flying internationally. But if you can't prove where you receive these funds, they confiscate the funds and they hold the funds. As a matter of fact, Congress passed a law that says that the police departments can no longer keep the money, that they have to actually turn the money over to the federal government that they confiscate. So, Miss Jeanine, like, why are you misleading the people into thinking that no one ever travels with cash, and that somehow Miss D.A. Willis is lying about having that amount of cash? Like, nobody does that. Just plain hypocrisy and haterism. I think they just hate her because they're not her.
Over $100. What she's got to worry about is not so much her reputation, because she's outraged. She's got to worry about the reputation of her office. That DA's office has a stink on it now. Did she hire someone that she brought in because she wanted to have a relationship with him? Did she spend, and by the way, how do you go on 5 trips as a DA in 6 months? I mean, from Belize to the Bahamas to Aruba to Miami, the Napa Valley. I mean, who's running the DA's office? Nobody has time to do this.
It is a such thing as vacation, Judge Jeanine, and there is a such thing as cruises, which she just totally told you all about. The cruise where they went to several different ports. If you ever been on a cruise, Miss Judge Jeanine, you will know that you stop in different countries, different ports when you're on the cruise. So that's how that can happen. She's being disingenuous. Sometimes, man, sometimes I just, continuing.
She was out of control, but in the end, I think she started understanding that it wasn't her show. She had to calm herself.
So we went on for hours, and this is one key part. If control room, can you get intro shot number 4 ready? And I'll ask Jesse about this, because there's been a lot of questions. If you tuned in late, there was all of these questions about money and cash and how much she paid, and she says she paid her fair share, et cetera. But this was a moment today where you thought, oh, there could be trouble. Watch.
I've given him cash only a few times in life, probably 4. Okay. Probably the most money I've ever handed him is $2,500.
You have no proof of any reimbursement for any of these things because it was all cash, right?
The testimony of one witness is enough to prove a fact.
The only money you've ever given him outside of a contract is cash.
I didn't give him money in a contract, so that was cute, but I didn't give him money outside in a contract. His money back. I don't need anybody to foot my bills. The only man who's ever foot my bills completely is my daddy.
You've been watching all day? You love it?
I don't even know where to start, Dana. I'm so engaged in this courtroom drama. So many things I want to say at once. I don't know if we're going to have enough time. We are covering this for the whole hour. Is that correct?
I don't know if I can
we
promise
please cover
that.
this for the whole hour?
Just start.
First of all, it must be exhausting to prosecute Trump because this woman's taken 7 vacations in a year. My favorite part was when she was asked if she's ever been to any other continents with Wade. And she said, well, I've been to Belize. What continent is Belize? Belize is North America, Central America. This woman is prosecuting the former president of the United States. She flies to...
So let's just be clear. Belize is not on the continent of North America, sir. So obviously you don't really know where it is either. So what's your point? What is your point? Do y'all see the hate? Do y'all see the hate? They're reaching. This whole trial is about reaching to find something wrong with her so she don't prosecute Trump for making an illegal phone call to the voters registration office. That's what this is about. They don't want Trump to be persecuted for doing something illegal. This is like one of the most intriguing charges against him because there's clear-cut evidence that he made that call and that he literally asked for votes, asked the voters registration office to find him some more votes. That's totally illegal. So they want to try to make her out to be someone that's criminal, or that she has conducted herself in a way that is criminal by engaging in a personal relationship with someone who's also gonna prosecute the case. I mean, this is clearly a case of trying to defame this woman's character and basically trying to get her disbarred, ruin her life over Trump because he made a phone call. Let's be clear about what's going on here. Let's check in on this side. Still no activity in the courtroom we don't see the judge in the courtroom, so we're going to continue with this blatant just haterism shown on Fox News on yesterday. Continuing.
To a country and doesn't know what continent it's on. That's just number one. These are not smart or professional people. These are petty people that all of a sudden everyone's looking at and their dirty laundry is totally exposed.
Did he just call her petty? Did you just hear that? Like the nerve and the audacity of this gentleman to say that she's petty when she's a district attorney in Georgia. Does he have a law license? No, he's a puppet for a racist news station. He doesn't even have a law license, but he's going to call her petty. You see the demeaning attitude that they have towards this woman. The hate is real. It's so thick. They cannot stand that a black woman, another black woman, is going to bring Trump down for his illegal activity. There's no doubt that he did something criminal, but you have to prove it in court. And she has good evidence against him, but they want her dismissed from the trial. They want Wade taken from off the case, and they're trying to take her license, her law license. This is what they're doing. So this is definitely fake news that this guy is spewing out of his mouth, along with some hate. Y'all pay attention to what's really going on here. Continuing.
Her friend, Dana, for 30 years, sorority sisters, she moved into this woman's condo. She hired her to work in her office. Her friend testified that she saw her kissing and cuddling and holding hands. Just right there alone, direct witness testimony should sink her, because you're not allowed to hire the person you're having sex with and then not disclose it, and then pay him a bunch of money, and then he takes you on vacation and you claim you gave him cash? She says she's keeping lots of cash in her house. Would the top law enforcement official in Fulton County announce to the entire world, hey, everybody in Atlanta, I keep lots of cash in my apartment?
Well, she had to answer the question, sir. Do you want her to perjure herself? That question was asked. Where are you keeping this money? I keep it at my house. I've always kept money at my house. She was asked, how did you withdraw this from the bank? I'm like, the questions that this guy was asking on yesterday was just so idiotic. Of course, where else would you get cash from except from your bank account? And then she also said that you could go to the grocery store and ask for cash out of the cash registers up to a certain amount. And she kept the cash in her house. Like, really though? Like, just because you may not have a bank account where you could say, I'm going to take $5,000 out and just keep it in my house, does not mean that this woman did not. And before she even made that statement, she was being harassed at her home. And it wasn't about money. It was just simply because she's pressing charges she filed charges against Trump. Nobody ever knew until she said that. But she saying this in response to a question that was asked of her. He's being very disingenuous and trying to paint her out to be a blatant criminal, and that she's hiding something, and that she did something wrong or illegal. That's what's really going on here. Let's keep an eye on the courtroom. No real activity going on there. Judge is not on the bench. So let's continue with this update here. I'm not going to be here long, guys. Thank you for tuning in wherever you are, and if you're going to tune in later, coffee cups up, tea cups up. If you're drinking that herbal tea, you're here with Achoti, and I thank you. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with me, and I thank you. We're witnessing the slander of DA Fannie Willis in an attempt to protect Donald Trump. Regardless to if Fannie Willis is found guilty and removed from the case, those charges still should go forward. He's still going to have to face a judge and a jury behind what he did that was allegedly criminal. Calling the voters registration office and asking them to find you some votes. That's a criminal act, and he should be charged, and he should be tried, and he should be convicted for it. They have the evidence, but that's the problem. Because they have the evidence, they're going to try to slander this woman and have her disbarred, trying to do this.
It doesn't even add up, Dana. And then when they say, well, where'd you get the cash from? She goes, blood, sweat, and tears. Hard work. Well, do you have any withdrawal slips from the bank? No, she's been accumulating a cash hoard for many years. She thought the guy said whore.
Yes,
that was one of my favorite parts. I mean, I could go on for hours and hours.
And he said I would never say
about this case. So much to say.
Can I ask the control room for call for number one? This is the friend revealing the relationship.
You're confused. You think I'm on trial. These people are on trial for trying to steal an election in 2020. I'm not on trial, no matter how hard you try to put me on trial.
That's right.
It is a lie. It is a lie.
Ms. Willis? Mr. Sena, thank you. We're going to take 5 minutes.
All right, that wasn't the one I wanted, but you get the picture of how it went, Greg.
Yeah, I think The View found a backup host. I mean, the amount of nonsense she can unload matches all of them combined. I'm like the judge. I didn't know you could be this combative and belligerent. I mean, that's okay, I guess. I mean, does the average guy get the same?
So there was a qualified judge presiding over this trial when Ms. Willis was on stand, DA Willis was on stand. And there was a couple of times where he instructed her to just answer the question. But then there were several other times what they're failing to say to you all is there were several other times that the judge interrupted the DA in their line of questioning and told them to move on, that they were actually trying to badger her on the stand, they kept asking the same question, just asking it in a different way in hopes that she would slip up and say something different where they could charge her with perjury or say that she's lying or her testimony cannot be believed. And that's what really happened. So the judge was in total control of his courtroom, and he did tell Ms. Willis just answer the questions on some occasions, but then on several other occasions, he also allowed her to explain and give an explanation for her answers. They're being very disingenuous, like I said before. If you have not watched the entire testimony, you need to watch Mr. Wade's testimony, and you also need to watch Fani Willis's testimony. Today, they're going to resume with Fani Willis on the stand. The defense attorney are going to question her. But yesterday, the prosecutors questioned her. Several different people, attorneys from the prosecuting side, questioned her yesterday. It was just freaking exhausting to me. So I know she might have been like totally frustrated at this point with them asking the same questions. Even the judge was like, we've asked that already. We've established that already. Let's just move on to a different line of questioning. That's what really happened. And that's what Fox is not telling you all. So if you have not seen that entire testimony from yesterday, go over to NTD. You see it there on the screen. Go over to NTD, and they have the entire hearing from yesterday. You need to watch that. You need to watch that so you can understand the hate, the level of hate that these people on Fox News is spewing out of their mouth in regards to Fani Lewis's testimony. Now, I can't stay long this morning. I just wanted to give y'all a quick update as to what's going on. You can also watch the trial here today. I'm not going to be able to sit and watch it, but I do want y'all to watch it, right? So I'm giving you a heads up because I want you to watch it on this particular news station, because I want y'all to pay attention to the chat. Pay attention what's going on in the chat. We have the mega supporters coming out in full blast and saying some very hateful things about Miss Fani Lewis. Look at here. David DeMarco, Black Fannies Matter, right? Her boyfriend was going to take her trips. Maybe she's still getting dressed. So they're mad because she showed up yesterday looking stunning. Like, right there at their, that's how petty these people are. Fani had her dress on backwards like her soul. See, these kind of things. Her dress was not on backwards. And if you knew that, like, you're paying attention to what she's wearing more than her testimony. That's the best you could do? Is that the best you could do, is talk about the way this woman was dressed? So I just want you to pay attention to what's going on in the chat before the trial even, or the hearing even resumes today. They've been in this chat room spewing hate against Fani Willis since 9 o'clock this morning. Since 9 o'clock this morning, the hate is real. This is not about justice. This is about taking down a woman who dared to press charges against their beloved Trump. That's what's going on right here. That's what's going on right here. So like I said, I can't stay long. I have something else to do this morning. I thank you. Coffee cups ups, herbal cups up, herbal tea cups up. Pay attention to how they're trying to treat this woman. Pay attention. The hate is real, and they hate for no reason. So grand rising to all of you that came in. This is news with coffee, herbs, and Achoti. Pay attention to what they're trying to do to DA Fani Willis in this hour. I love you all with the love of Yahuwah. Take care of yourself and each other. And I say, shalom.